Hi, I'm Howie Schmutz, chairman of Starcucks Coffee. Recently, a couple of trespassers who wanted to take up a table for a long time at one of our busiest stores without purchasing anything were let out in handcuffs by police after being repeatedly asked to leave per company policy. We were subsequently picketed at stores all over the country and labeled as racist. Well, we certainly don't want to be labeled as racist, especially as we already committed to the same social justice policies as you are. Well, you bitched and we caved. You spoke and we listened. We shut down a whopping 8,000 stores to teach our employees what they already know. And further, how to kiss up to more entitled customers even more than they already do. We believe we have been successful beyond expectation. Let's see the results.
Welcome to Starcucks. How can I help you?
I want my reparation latte.
Reparation latte?
That's what I said, isn't it? Are you deaf or something?
No, I've just never heard of a reparation latte before. What goes in it?
Whatever the hell I want.
Sir, please don't yell. I'll make you whatever drink you want. Just tell me what you want me to put in it.
I want red raspberry and dark chocolate, just like the blood and color of my oppressed brothers.
But you're white.
Are you profiling me?
No, I'm just trying to figure this out. Look, here's your latte. On the house. I didn't mean to offend.
Whatever. Gimme.
Hi, welcome to Starcucks. What can I get you?
Hi, I'd like a mocha with almond milk, please.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry, ma'am. We're all out of almond milk at this time. Would soy milk be okay?
Oh, what's with the ma'am stuff? Do I look like a madam to you? And what kind of idiot barista runs out of almond milk?
Well, miss, I'm not the one who orders the almond milk.
Are you arguing with me?
No, I'm sorry. Look, I can send my partner over to the market next door and get some almond milk. It'll only be a few minutes. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience.
Oh, and I'm sorry, you're oppressing me.
What?
You're treating me this way because I have a vagina.
Well, that's ridiculous. I'm a woman, too.
There you go. Arguing with me again, you oppressor. Howard Schmutz is going to hear about this.
Oh, Here, have a soy reparation mocha on the house. And here's a coupon for another free drink for your next visit. I'm sorry we didn't meet your needs today.
Whatever. Gimme.
When the hell is my shift going to end? Welcome to Starcucks. What can I get you?
Can I use your restroom?
Oh, dear God. Sir, someone else is using it at the moment. I'll get the key to you as soon as it is returned to us. Can I get you a drink while you're waiting?
I see what you're doing. You're trying to force me to buy a drink, you little fascist.
Oh, here, have a goddamn free coffee. Creamer's over there, you mooching little shit. That's right. Free coffee for all you entitled little monsters.
Little Nazi ran out of Sweet and Low. I guess NutraSweet will have to do. Rude.
Well, maybe we have a bit of work to do. But here at Starcucks, we will continue to placate social justice warriors until you stop yelling at us or until I'm completely out of a job. For more information, please visit where'smyfreedamncoffee.com. This has been Howie Schmutz for Starcucks, and every single one of us is sorry.
Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcap production. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're listening live, be sure to join our chat on Spreaker. If you're listening dead, please stop voting Democrat, but enjoy the show anyway. And a hearty, healthy, and happy good evening to you all out there in listener land. Welcome to another Sunday here at Counterculture-Wise Radio, where we have so much to share. We're even going to educate you tonight, and not just on Florida Man, although that's coming up too.
Yay!
Yay! I am your hostess with the mostest, Ms. Melanie Hope. And if you would be kind enough, no matter where you're listening, no matter how you're hearing us, no matter what device may be plugged into your ears at this moment, please drop everything and like, share, subscribe, give us a 200 billion star review. If you hate our guts, just give us 5 stars. That's insulting enough. We'll feel the pain. Tell people about us, and, just enjoy. Go back and head on to our website, counterculturewise.com. See what we have there. We have animations, we have our newsreel, sometimes we have blog posts. There's all kinds of fun things there. I keep promising we'll revamp that. It'll happen. It's happening. As soon as I can stand up again. That's another story for another time.
Definitely.
Speaking of another story for another time, here with me in the Counterculture-Wise studios, besides the happy, chomping dogs that are chewing on their bones as we speak, is... well, he just happens to be my best friend. I kind of married the schmuck. He's also my co-host and my sweet baboo, actor, writer, and photographer extraordinaire, Mr. James Moniz.
Hi, everybody. I had a conversation with Melanie today, and she was feeling down herself. I said, go ahead, just embrace your mistakes. She gave me a hug.
He's so starved for affection, he'll take it any way he can get it.
Amen to that.
Oh, yeah, that one was that one wrote itself.
Welcome to the show, folks. We have so much to talk about today. We have a lot of fun things coming up. So why don't we just skip the nonsense and get started?
Skip the nonsense and get started. All right.
Alrighty.
Now, we received the nicest letter, just the sweetest letter from someone who really took a lot of time. It's very long and very wordy, so I'm not going to read it here. But we have a listener who is, I guess, relatively local, although not, let's just say Texas is a big state. But I really appreciate the time that this person took to write us, and I don't want to out him or get him in trouble or anything, but he had a lot of really good suggestions, a lot of really very nice comments about our relationship, said that he was a loyal listener, which I certainly appreciate, but had some questions about my take last week. I was a little harsh, maybe. Yeah, I wasn't harsh. I was a little not so nice on the whole Palestine situation, and he actually got me questioning my understanding of the situation, which I am always open to. So some of the things he asked about was, how well I knew the history, and he gave me a little bit based on, what he knew, and of course agreed with us that they're both in the wrong, and, war sucks. But I thought, it would be interesting to actually do kind of a high level, not high level as in like really good, but just quick what do they call that? The 50,000 foot overview of how this so-called Palestine came to be. Because I think the thing he was not understanding was that I said Palestine isn't a thing. And, that people even taking Palestine's side, outside of college, other companies and stuff, which we'll hear about here in a bit, can say, well, how dare you? They're historical. They've been there for thousands of years. So I thought I'd go through a timeline and just kind of impart some wisdom, because I actually took the time this week to go over it through several sources. So I didn't just go to the ADL or to Israeli or Al Jahara or, whatever. I went to several different places and kind of got myself a timeline. So we can see, okay, how did this develop and what happened? And I thought I'd share this with our listeners. So if you're out there, my friend, I don't want to say your name because you did not give me your permission, and I also don't want to upset, folks. If you're out there, I hope you hear this, and I hope this helps. And I really appreciate your very heartfelt, kind words, fellow Texan. and I hope this actually gives us a place to start. So before I even begin, Jim.
Yes.
If I would say, how many Islamic states are there? Or can you name me some countries where they are, by definition, Islamic states and or Islam is their state religion? Could you give me any?
Sure. I guess Saudi Arabia and Iran and Iraq, I think. Qatar, several others.
So official Islamic states: Iran, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Mauritania, and Yemen.
Okay.
Countries with Islam as a state religion: Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Kuwait, Algeria, Malaysia, Maldives, is that how you pronounce that?
Maldives,
Morocco, Libya, Tunisia, of course the UAE, United Arab Emirates, I never say that right, Somalia, Brunei, and Libya. Now, of all of those countries where Islam is their, organized state religion and or they are literally run by Sharia law, how many Jewish states are there out there? Can you name me, outside of Israel, can you name me any?
Outside of Israel and New York City? But nothing. No.
None.
Outside of Israel.
There are none. So why do we see Zionism as this evil, awful thing? We've got this tiny little sliver of land that was promised to them in the Old Testament. And everybody thinks that Zionism is just this evil, awful, nasty thing when we have got Muslims running significant portions of the world. And nobody bats an eyelash at that.
Right.
So let's go all the way back to 1700 BC. Okay, long time ago. I wish I had the thing. Diddly-dee, 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 diddly-dee. So we're talking all the way back, Isaac, Abraham, Jacob. They settled into what is now considered the West Bank Gaza Strip. So read the whole Bible, the whole thing, promised land, milk and honey, yada, yada, yada. This included parts of what we modernly consider Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. Some of those were actually called that back in those days, Jordan. Some of them not so much. And the name that it was given back, way back in 1700 BC, was the land of Israel, the Holy Land, the Promised Land.
Right.
Okay. Fast forward 1000 BC, King Saul, who you might recognize from the Bible, established the Israelite monarchy, and then King David made Jerusalem the capital of his kingdom. His son Solomon built the first temple there in Jerusalem. So we're still before, Jesus even walked the earth.
Right.
After Solomon's death in 931 BC, the kingdom was split, with the kingdom of Israel, where the capital was Samaria, in the north, and the kingdom of Judah, where the capital was Jerusalem, in the south. And we do hear about Samaritans, who are technically still Jews, but there was this difference in certain beliefs that made Samaritans and, Judah Jews not get along so much, and that's why we get our stories with. Now I'm being
very general,
very general, but that's the difference between Samaritan Jews and Israel Jews. So Jews were basically hunted until their numbers were decreased significantly. And one of these conquests was by the Roman Empire in 63 BC. We're still in BC. And they gave the name Palestine to Judah in an effort to break the Jewish connection to that land. So the Romans came in and said, we don't want you stinking Jews here. We're going to give it this name, blah, blah. Now, the words Palestine or Philistine do not appear in the Quran. Palestine is also not mentioned in the Old or New Testament. It does occur at least 8 times in the version of the Hebrew Concordance of the King James Bible.
Okay.
But up until modern days, where we actually had printed Bibles, that word did not even exist. It was never mentioned, even in the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
The derivative of the name Palestine first appears in Greek literature, because it's actually given Palestine. Oh, what was the name? P-A-L-A-I-S-T-I-N-E. So not even the way we spell it now. A derivative of that name first appears in Greek literature in the 5th century, still BC, when the historian Herodotus used the word Palestine to refer to the coastal strip inhabited by the Philistines. Okay. Toward the end of the Roman Empire, Christianity, which we know is an offshoot of Judaism, began to dominate the area. So now we're into the AD years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now Muhammad, the child-raping, warmongering dog hater, didn't invent Islam until the start of the 7th century AD. People like to pretend that Islam is like this ancient religion. It's not. Dude just woke up one day and is like, hey, I'm going to invent me a religion. Nobody wanted to follow him. Even his family said, you're ridiculous. He headed out to the hills and then became a warmongering child rapist. Anyways, he didn't invent that until the start of the 7th century AD, so we're talking 600s.
Okay.
The area, once he started
Still a while
spreading and
ago,
everything,
but
it was
not-
all about, murdering and raping and pillaging. Then they flooded the area with Arabs invasions, and this is because they wanted to spread Islam. And Islam has never been a religion of peace. I don't care what anybody says. Islam has always come by the sword, always.
Now, she says this, folks, because she has studied the Quran. This isn't just opinion formed out of thin air.
No, and it's not because
I
I'm
want
an
to make sure our
Istaphobe.
listeners listen.
It's not because I'm afraid of them. It's because I've read their books. I've read their studies. And they'll be happy to tell you that too.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's part of their religion that they're supposed to lie to us. It's right in the book. Okay, the Dome of the Rock was built on the rubble of the Second Temple. So we built the Jewish temple there, King David and then Solomon. Of course, they knocked it all down, destroyed it, and then built their temple on it because it's kind of like teabagging. It's like the ultimate insult, and that's basically all Islam is a constant insult to people because they just want bloody, bloody wars and ends to who they disagree with. They then declared Jerusalem their holy city, even though it was already claimed by both the Jews and Christians literally centuries before Islam was even invented. And I do mean invented. In the 11th century, the Turks worked to systematically destroy Christians. And the response to this, as they were taking over large swaths of the Middle East and Africa and whatnot, the response was the Crusades.
Right.
So people always try to paint the Crusades as this awful, evil thing. If you look at how much land was taken by Muslims versus how much land was taken back by Crusaders, all you need to do is look at a map. And you can see, wait, this was just a response to that. That
Right.
history has been rewritten so many times, people don't even know what the Crusades were anymore. Many Jews were also persecuted and murdered by Islam, even as they tried to flee to Europe. So now we've got a whole bunch of these, Jews that have fled to Europe back in the 11th century. In the 1500s, most of the area was ruled by the Ottoman Empire. This is where our friend pretty much picked up in his letter. These were basically Muslims from Turkey, Turkish Muslims. The dog's out there stomping on the playtime button. Did you put that on the ground?
I'm not sure how they managed to get that. They're in their cages.
So,
unless you let them out.
yeah, she's playtime. So the dogs are learning how to talk using buttons, and her favorite is playtime because she gets her favorite toys that she doesn't get to keep very often because she likes to eat them. So,
and I'm hoping to reprogram one of them.
unless
Max,
it's the
so
cat, it could very well be the cat.
It probably is Max. Because,
it probably is, knowing Max.
Because we don't.
Yeah.
The dogs can't push on the button. They're in their
But Max can.
kennels. So.
Okay, so the Ottoman Empire, otherwise known as the Turkish Muslims, they were violent warmongers, because they were Muslims. We're still going to get kicked off of YouTube. And they ruled most of East Europe, West Asia, North Africa, until about the early 20th centuries, for a long, long time. They unofficially named the area Palestine. Okay, so Palestine wasn't really a thing, but that's kind of what they called the area. Now, keep in mind, well, actually, we'll get to this. As World War I approached, more and more exiled Jews became part of the Zionist movement. They just wanted to go home. Mm-hmm. And they specifically wanted to go to their ancient homeland, which just so happened to be Israel, but they were calling it Palestine. So tens of thousands began moving back to the region. Of course, World War I, we saw the end of the Ottoman Empire. The Brits and the Frenchies broke up the area of Israel. They gave Iraq and Jordan their independence, basically, and kept what they called the British Mandate for Palestine in 1921. Now, the intent under the Balfour Declaration, which you can look all this up, was to be a national home for Jewish people, not Muslims. Palestine was never intended for Muslims. This went effect into 1923. But the Arabs still had the land or still lived there, and they didn't like any of those notions. They refused it, and they had been waging violence against the Jews ever since. In the 1930s, Jews who finally now had their home back were migrating back home, mainly in response to the Nazi uprising and persecution that was happening. Sure. Britain decided to limit Jewish immigration to Israel because they saw this happening. But now the Jews were like, you know what? No, this is our homeland. And they rose to fight both the Arabs that were there fighting them and the British rule of their homeland, Israel. Mm-hmm. In the 1940s, of course, the Holocaust exterminated more than 6 million Jews, or as far as we know, that neighborhood, maybe more. For obvious reasons, still more Jews migrated back home to Israel. Britain actually withdrew from the region. In 1947, the UN partitioned the area into an Arab state and a Jewish state, with Jerusalem being what they called an international zone because everybody was claiming Jerusalem, and it had a certain special status. And kind of still sort of is that way. The Arabs rejected the proposal because they were butthurt about the Jews getting more of their land back, and that's pretty much the theme this entire time. So, of course, they formed volunteer armies to make things work, like they always do. In 1948, the Brits finally withdrew totally, and Israel declared itself independent. This led to the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Mm-hmm. The 5 independent Muslim nations, so we're talking giant countries that are surrounding Israel, Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, all banded together, invaded Israel, and attempted to create a unified Muslim-Arab Palestine. So this is where they started saying, oh, you don't get Israel. It's Palestine. It's a thing now. A ceasefire was actually reached in 1949, giving Egypt the Gaza Strip. Stripped? Did I say stripped?
Yes,
Egypt the Gaza Strip, Jordan, East Jerusalem, and the West Bank. Israel maintained the western part of its own state, but they lost all of that. Mm-hmm. About 750,000 Arabs who called themselves Palestinians, were ousted. So not murdered, not sent to gas chambers, not put in concentration camps. No. They were just say, go home. Go home. This isn't your home. And, of course, they called this day Al-Nakba, or the catastrophe. So not exactly a Holocaust, but my take of them is that they're ridiculously unself-aware. Don't talk to Jew about the catastrophe, okay? Don't talk to Jews about the catastrophe, okay? You just get off my lawn, is all I'm saying. In 1967, okay, so now we're in modern times, the Six-Day War broke out when all the Arab states surrounding Israel just couldn't keep to themselves. Israel was able to take back Golan Heights, the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, and the Sinai Peninsula. So this Sinai, is it Sinai or Sinai?
Sinai.
Was returned to Egypt in 1979 via a peace treaty. No more bloodshed, peace treaty. In 1966, the PLO was formed in Egypt. They launched missiles from their base in Jordan because they're a bunch of pussies who couldn't actually fight, so they had to launch a bunch of missiles. This is Melanie's version of history.
The bravery of being out of range, as Roger Waters put it.
Then they went to Lebanon when they were kicked out of Jordan, where they continued acts of terrorism until Israel conceded some of the West Bank. It's like, okay, fine, here, stop bombing us already. In 1987, another uprising from the Jabalia camp flared up because of a truck accident. You can dive into that. Basically, it was a truck accident, and they had a big hissy fit about it. And
Really, I remember having heard it was a truck of explosives. It was a deliberate act. See, that's that. But
the way they painted it, it was. But I don't want to get too. Like I said, this is the 100,000 mile.
Right.
Okay.
Bird's eye view.
So they called this the first Intifada. And after a whole lot of bloodshed, the PLO and Israel signed the Oslo Accords. We signed some here, and they signed some there. This divided the West Bank into 3 areas. Area A was controlled by the Arabs, who now call themselves officially Palestinians. Okay? 1987, ladies and gentlemen. 1987, okay? Area B was controlled by both. Good luck with that. And Area C was Israel. And there's maps and everything you can look up if you want to. The second Intifada was in 2000, when the Arabs got butthurt again because Ariel Sharon, who later became the Israeli prime minister.
I think it's Sharon.
Probably Sharon, I'm sure.
Sharon.
Yeah, 2000. I was still pretty young.
That's no excuse. Do your research.
I did. How can't you tell I did my research? Anyways, he was an Israeli Jew. Shame on him. And he visited the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, where the original temple was built, the one that they destroyed and then, teabagged their temple on top of it. Well, Israelis withdrew from Gaza but continued to settle. Oh, wait. Oop, I skipped ahead. Okay, so the Arabs got all butthurt about that, declared war, had a big fit about it, even though Jerusalem was historically Israeli. Historically belonged to the Jews. That's where they built their temple. That's where Jesus was. But, of course, the Arabs had to get all butthurt because he visited. He didn't pee on it. He didn't knock it down to rubble like they did. He visited. And, of course, we can't have that. So Israelis actually withdrew from Gaza, let them have it, but they continued to settle on the West Bank. There wasn't a whole lot of them left at this point.
Right.
But still enough that it scared, all these big, bad Muslims. In the mid-2000s, Hamas rose up, and their charter literally dictates the genocide of Jews. It's written right in it. It says right in it that's what they want. They couldn't even get along with their own kind, and they ended up fighting the PLO and settling in Gaza because they're a bunch of big terrorist pussies who can't do anything right. A little bit opinionated about this.
Just a little bit.
I'm sorry. Terrorists are chickens. If you have to go out there and terrorize people because you have such little faith in your child-raping, dog-hating, you can't even draw him because he's so insecure, okay? You are the lowest of the low. You are what dogs spit on. You are nothing. If you have to terrorize innocent men, women, and children, and especially children, you are so insecure about your beliefs, you don't even believe in what you're fighting for. You're not even fighting. You're just a baby who's not getting your way. You're worse than that little brat throwing a temper tantrum in the middle of Walmart because they didn't get a lollipop. You're a chicken. You're a coward. You don't like dogs because you're lower than they are. I'm still getting jihaded on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So they couldn't even get along with each other. They ended up fighting the PLO, and then they settled in Gaza. So this is Hamas. Well, because they're not complete morons, Israel put Gaza under a blockade. I mean, wouldn't you? Let's build a frickin' wall around these psychotic, crazy, child-raping terrorists. I'm back. I'm with you on that one. This led to several more bloody battles, including silly named incursions like Operation Cast Lead in 2008, Operation Pillar of Defense in 2012, and Operation Protective Edge in 2014. Hamas joined Fatah, and in 2018, President Donald Trump finally carried out the promise of moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, which, of course, pissed off the Muslims because they're butthurt about every damn thing. They didn't like the idea of Jerusalem becoming Israel's capital again, like it was originally before Islam was even a thing. In 2020, Israel, the UAE, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco signed the Abraham Accords. Golly, who did that? Huh. In 2021, Palestinians started more fighting, and then in 2022, Egypt, Qatar, and the UN got them to cease fire until Biden screwed it all up again, and here we are.
And that, my friends, is a thumbnail sketch of the history of the land of Palestine.
Chat says the correct spelling is Pal-Lie, L-I-E, Stein. Yes. So all of those people like Rashida Tlaib, who's out there lying and literally starting insurrections, which why the heck are they getting away with that?
Chuck will
Storming
talk
the
about that
Capitol. Soon. Yeah, Chuck will talk about it. I don't want to use bad words, but I think I made myself very clear.
Yes, you made yourself quite clear.
So I think I also made our stand very clear with our thumbnail. So thank you, Fritzy, for lending her eyeball. Mm-hmm. And that, my friends, is the... Well, we sometimes do a segment called The Gospel According to Melanie. This was history according to Melanie. Not quite drunk history, but give me another glass of wine and we'll get there. That is one of my favorite shows.
Tipsy history.
Tipsy. Not even tipsy yet. Just on a lot of medication after a big fall. Okay. So, I think the history of Palestine leads us... We still need a stinger for this. The TDSer of the week. Yeah! I don't think he even deserves a prize. He's just such a given.
Let's just talk about it. This guy, we even say a word.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the sacrilegious. I don't think he's a good actor. He plays himself in every role he's ever done. Oh, the faces.
That was my Robert De Niro face.
Yeah, and it was bang on. It's literally the exact same character because he just plays himself. He doesn't even act.
Oh,
Nope. You're not going to convince me.
Godfather Part 2? Corleone?
Nah.
Midnight Run with Charles Grodin? That was a great movie.
Meh.
Have you seen it?
No.
Then you can't meh. You can't meh something you don't know about.
I can meh. He never plays anything but himself. Even because what was the movies where he played the dad? Meet the Fockers.
Meet
Yeah.
Meet the Parents.
He
Meet the
literally
Fockers.
played exactly just the same character. He was exactly the same character.
But he was good. I thought
he was
good
just.
In that movie.
That's like you play Flappy-Handed Jim. I mean, it's just the same thing over and over again.
Okay, kiddies.
Yeah,
anyway.
Be Kermit the Frog. There you go.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think he's a good actor. I've seen some amazing work from him, but that's okay. I know Melanie is a little prejudiced because she doesn't like TDSers.
No, I'm not that prejudiced. He's not that good of an actor.
All right. This is actually from the LA Times, which fascinates me because this is the headline. Years after presidency, Donald Trump is still living rent-free in Robert De Niro's head.
Very, very much. Wow. This comes from the LA Times?
From the Los Angeles Bloody Times.
Wow.
Yes.
So even they're starting to notice.
And Hollywood, just down the street from Paramount and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Robert De Niro, Trump, would like to talk about his new movie, Trump, Killers of the Flower Moon, Trump, but something keeps getting in the way.
Whoever wrote this, Amy Hubbard, you are brilliant.
The 80-year-old actor recently spoke to The Guardian and tried, really he did, to talk about other topics, but one former president kept popping up in conversation. De Niro has perhaps become as well known for his dislike of Donald Trump as for his many iconic film roles. For him, Trump is just a bunch of raging bulls.
Nicely done.
The actor is notorious for his lack of panache during interviews. In 2011, he sat down for an interview at the Tribeca Film Festival with then NBC News anchor Brian Williams, who asked him to talk about his parents. My father was an artist. My mother was an artist who started a typing business to support us. That's it. That's the kind of responses he'd always give, just mumbles and just a couple of lines and that kind of thing. But ask him about politics and the passion flows forth. In the Williams interview, which coincided with Trump's birther accusations regarding former President Obama, he said, "How dare you? That's awful. Just to go out there and say things you can't back up. That's crazy."
Actually, you can back it
The
up.
passion continued to heat up over the years. In 2018, he earned an ovation at the Tony Awards when, before introducing a performance by Bruce Springsteen, he fit in a F Trump while he had the mic.
Yeah, people stood up and applauded for that. That is how low-level, unintelligent, pathetic these awards have become.
Yeah. I don't watch them anymore.
No, they're
They interest me
stupid.
not at all.
Once they started screaming the F word into microphones and they started giving awards to things like Lizzo, it's like, I'm out. Not even interested.
Anyway, in this recent Guardian interview, he went off about Trump again, saying he shouldn't get a second chance. And I'm sure you could imagine. It's...
He's a one-trick pony, and unless somebody feeds him new lines, he's got nothing.
By the way, see Raging Bull when you can. It is a good movie.
He looks like a raging bull.
He did back then, too. Joe Pesci was in it, too.
All right,
We
so
love Joe
congratulations,
Pesci.
Robert De Niro. You are the
TDSer of the week.
I promise we'll have a sounder next week. Yeah, Chad says he sounds like Rachel. Russia, 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 Russia.
Yeah.
Trump, Trump,
Yeah.
Trump, 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 Trump.
Yep.
Trump is funner to
Just
say
like
than Russia.
Raging Mad Cow, yes.
Rachel Mad Cow. All right, folks, now that we've gotten all those unpleasantries out of the way, let's head on into one of my favorite segments.
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
It has come... I don't even want to read this article because the headline is just so perfect. This
Why
is
don't you just go ahead and
literally
read
the headline. It has come to our attention that the Toyota butt plug is actually a pear-shaped boiling flask. It's like you don't even need to read the article. Subtitle. Although there's no reason to believe it couldn't still serve double duty at least once.
This is from an automobile
Yeah, this is
website
actual.
called Jalopnik.
Yeah, so it's actual automobile magazine. All right, ever since 2016, I've had to get used to the idea that things are going to happen that absolutely no one can predict. Nothing makes sense anymore, and you just have to accept it. Amen. Still, every now and then something shows up that was very much not on my bingo card for 2023. As much as I try not to be surprised anymore, I can't help myself. For example, yesterday, when an otherwise ho-hum press release from Toyota included a photo that looked exactly like a butt plug. Now, for those of you who don't know what that looks like because you're not disgusting perverts who are into that thing, just
It
go
looks
to...
like this photo.
They do look like this, yeah. Okay. Was the comparison a bit crass? Yeah, perhaps. At the same time, though, how could anyone who knows what a butt plug looks like look at the above photo and not see a butt plug? Like, that is the exact shape. Unsurprisingly, that post was a hit with commenters, even if a few people got upset that a Jalopnik writer would dare write something even slightly immature. Nice. I would argue, though, that if they replace that stick up their behind with a nice butt plug, they might be happier overall. Well, maybe less or fewer splinters, but...
I like this writer. I do.
He's a good
Vulgar,
writer.
but funny.
He's a vulgar but good writer.
Funny.
As it turns out, though, there is a little more to this story, which I guess shouldn't be surprising considering how famously... How many syllables do I want to put... Famously, like I want all of the syllables, all of them. Famously conservative Toyota is as a company. Now that I did not know.
It is.
I just wasn't planning to dig any deeper unless I got a call from Toyota's PR department asking that I clarify the original butt plug post. Just some of these terms I can't believe I'm saying out loud. That call never came, nor did any angry emails, but one Redditor over on r/real Tesla offered an actual explanation. I'm constantly correcting my students that it's not an explanation mark, it's an exclamation mark. And so then I find explanation, and I messed it up. Okay. That's called a pear-shaped flask, and it was shaped that way for a reason. The flange is to fix it to the neck of the rotovap and form an airtight seal. I already feel smarter. The rotovap is hooked up to a vacuum and rotates with the flask on an angle, so when it rotates, the sample is spread out for greater surface area. For larger samples, a round bottom flask can be used when it sets the sample spread out. And it goes on like that for a while. Oh, my. Yeah, this person got really technical.
Things got really professional.
Yeah, the reverse flux... yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The pointed bottom also helps to scoop the sample out or scrape it off the sides if that is necessary. The design is 100% practical. Now, keep in mind, this is like a full paragraph later. And the fact that it looks exactly like a butt plug is unrelated to that practical design. At first, that sounded like some turbo encabulator nonsense, which I'm sure is a car part, to my poorly educated self, but nope, it turns out that really is a pear-shaped boiling flask. And while we're sure there are plenty of other places to buy them, this website will sell them to you for a mere... Oh, no.
What?
$69. You can't make this up! Honest to God, it says $69. If you're interested in ordering a case of 12, though, you can get them at a slight discount. Yes, they're actually important scientific lab equipment and have short necks and carefully controlled wall thickness to maintain proper balance between thermal expansion and mechanical strength for optimal shock resistance. So he actually apologizes to Toyota. $69. It's just, you cannot make that up.
Thank you to this writer at Jalopnik, who is quite good.
You entertained us all. That was a good article, I must admit.
All righty. And now we move on to... Where do we move on to? Okay, California.
California.
Now, see, I used to, when I was in high school...
Where that butt plug probably came from.
Okay.
When you were in high school.
When I was in high school, my last high school was in a place called Sebastopol, California, and we were about an hour's drive north of this town called Petaluma, which was famous for its cruising. Mm-hmm. This was the site of several scenes in the classic movie American Graffiti.
Oh, with
all the cars
hydraulics
and so there's
that was a big deal.
And even at the movie theater I used to go to as a I'll talk about that some other time, but anyway.
Well, I remember growing up in the Auburn, Renton, Kent, Seattle area, and there was something called the Renton Loop that we would cruise, and they made it illegal.
Right, they did so in Petaluma as well.
We didn't do anything wrong. It's just that's how you met people.
It was a way to have... It was a way to have fun without getting in trouble.
Hello.
We can't cruise. Okay, we'll just go to Susie's house and all get snockered.
No, we'll all head out to the mountains and drop acid. That's what we ended up doing. And
Hey, don't incriminate yourself.
I'm a billion years old. Nobody cares anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I think in Washington that's all legal now anyway.
All right, for the fourth time, let's try it again.
One more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law on Friday that lifts the restrictions on lowrider cruising, a cultural and artistic tradition developed by Latinos living in the Golden State. That's a different type of cruising. I always loved to watch these lowrider cars go by and flop around in their hydraulics, like you said. It's also War is a great band, and that's one of my favorite songs.
I like how this is all one word. Assembly member.
Assembly
member, get away from me.
David Alvarez, who sponsored the legislation, called it a major win for Californians.
Why?
On I don't know.
The things
On
they
behalf
find
of
important in California.
any amount of lifting of restrictions in the state of
I'm with you.
California
I'm
at
with
this
you.
time
I'm with you.
is a good thing.
I'm with
On
you.
behalf of the thousands of advocates who supported this culturally significant legislation, the lowrider communities and car clubs from all over California, I would like to thank the governor for signing AB 436 into law, Alvarez said in the tweet. Lowrider culture was
Why do
developed.
we have to sign a new law, though? Why can't we just say that old law was stupid?
That's usually how when they say a law, it usually means a revision or. It's called a law. I mean,
Don't legislators have erasers? That's my question of the week.
No, they don't. They have erasers in their brains. Lowrider culture was developed by Mexican Americans in and around Southern California after World War II. Enthusiasts modified cars to ride lower to the ground and gave them elaborate, colorful paint jobs. Groups of lowriders would drive their vehicles low and slow through town, a pastime known as cruising.
That's
There
where
it
the
was.
fuzzy dice came
We used to
in. That's
love
where the
that.
balls hanging
Through
from
the years,
yeah.
some police officers harassed the lowriders because they were racist jerks, who were usually Latino, and broke up cruising events. California state law put limits on how low vehicles could ride, and cities and towns imposed their own cruising bans.
Now, okay, I could understand laws if, say, they were so low that they were causing damage to the road.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe causing sparks going off speed bumps that set things on fire.
Sure.
I could understand laws of if that is what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But was it?
Yeah. The new law lifts. Okay. Now Californians have a green light to ride both ride low and cruise. The new law lifts the former restriction that prohibited the body of a vehicle from riding closer to the ground than the bottom of its rims. There you
Wow,
go.
that is low.
It also rescinds the ability of cities and towns to impose their own cruising bans, which many had in place until recently, including Sacramento and San Jose. As we've always said, cruising isn't a crime. I always felt that way myself.
Yeah, okay, it's not like
It's
they
fun.
were racing, right?
Yeah, it's the opposite
Cruising
of
is
racing.
slow.
Yeah, it's the opposite of racing.
Yeah.
Jovita Arellano, president of the United Lowriders Coalition, it's interesting that they have to have one of those, told CBS 8, "We're really happy that the state assembly members, the senators, and the governor have embraced our culture that is really important to us." Good.
Okay,
This is
so I have a
good.
question.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that these laws were put in place strictly because of racism? Or do you think there was anything... Do laws have to explain themselves?
Not usually. No.
Because, I mean, we ran up against, it wasn't a law, but it was a policy that was so moronic. Because usually when there's like a law, like, you know, you have to stop the bus and open the door before you cross a railroad track.
Right.
Okay. Way back in the olden times, we didn't have the ding, 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 dings that came down and blocked.
Right.
You know, we didn't have those. So you could try to cross a railroad track and literally be smacked into by a train because you didn't know it was coming.
Right.
So if you were, you know, driving a bus full of chillins, you'd want to stop and say, okay, can I hear a train? Is one coming? And that made sense.
Right.
But now that we've got the ding, 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 dings, I know there's a name for those things.
Yeah, there is, but I can't top the way you're putting that. So
And it's better. The visual's even better because I'm doing the fingers and they come down and everything. Now that we've got that, it's like that. I kind of don't need that anymore.
However, I have a counter argument to that.
Okay.
They're electric. They break down.
They're electric. Do 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 do. Our brains. Okay. Still, they don't make every single car do that.
Yeah.
It's only school buses. Granted, let's protect the chillins, but if we give that much care to the chillins, why don't they have seatbelts? I'm just saying.
I have never understood why school buses don't have them.
Yeah, me
I
either.
mean, regular transit buses, okay. I mean, you have
And people are up, down, up, down, up, down.
that's different. But school buses, I don't see why they don't.
I mean, they
it
don't
would
even
also stop kids from behaving badly so much.
No, not anymore. They can't. You cannot lay hands on a child. You cannot yell at a child.
No, what I'm saying. Well, I mean, what I'm saying is they act insane. But if you're sitting, if they're compelled to wear a seatbelt, then maybe they'll keep to themselves a little more.
A little more,
fight and
yeah.
argue. Just
Yeah,
another
just saying.
side effect. It's
Yeah.
a good thing.
We just
Anyway,
dog-legged all over the place.
That's
But
the story of that.
like I said, I want to give the benefit of the doubt, but I think we have way too many laws. So we ran up into one that actually stopped us from enjoying an evening out that we had been planning for almost a month,
Yeah.
and really, really upset both of us. And it
Well,
was
we needed
something
it. There
we
was
needed
a
it
lot
like you
going
wouldn't
on. I mean,
believe.
we're not going to
A
bore
lot
you with
going
the
on. I don't want to
details,
go into
but-
details, but it was just so moronic and so stupid. And I racked my brains trying to think of why they needed to do that. And the only thing I could think of is some idiot took advantage of the situation, hurt somebody, or him or herself, and
Or did damage to property.
ruined it for everybody.
Right.
And so now we have laws. It's like, can't we just punish the idiot? Why do we have to create laws that affect everybody? And then I thought about the military, and you as a Marine and some of our listeners, thank you for your service, when they would punish the entire platoon because one idiot did something stupid. And
that was just another
did that
way to
make you a better
control us,
soldier,
Melanie.
or
That's
did
a
that
little
make
bit
you just
different.
hate that one dude? It
No,
didn't
I
make
mean,
you
it
a
just-
better team. It didn't make you a better soldier. It just made you hate that one idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, I'm not a better
I'm
person.
thinking about the blanket party scene in Full Metal Jacket.
I have not seen that. I know you
Yeah,
too.
it's one of the best movies about
Is that the You
Vietnam
Can't
War.
Handle the Truth, or is that in a different one?
No, it's A Few Good Men.
Okay. I haven't seen that one either, obviously.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
I know that line.
Wow, we just
anyway.
rabbit-holed ourselves into the first hour.
We
We've barely
sure
gotten
did.
through.
I'm happy about that.
Okay, well, I want to read the next story because this is exactly what would happen if Jim were a bear.
Dang right.
Dang right. A barbecue in Tennessee came to a premature end when a bear crashed the party and feasted on 10 hamburgers and a Diet Coke.
Yay!
That's what you had for dinner just last night.
Exactly.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke and a burger. Oh, okay,
TikTok user MelMel7197 posted a video to the site showing what happened when a bear showed up to a backyard barbecue in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
It was Gatlinburg.
It's even a
in
little bitty bear,
mid-July.
but yeah,
Just
he
sit
was
down
eating it
off
right
the
off the
front.
grill too, totally fearless. The bear is seen lifting the lid off the grill. He's like, "Oh, what do we got?"
What
and
have we
feasting.
here? Any root
Feast.
beer?
Feasting on the 10 burgers cooking inside. The Bruin then washes down his meal by knocking over a can of Diet Coke and drinking from the resulting puddle. The user wrote the bear ate our dinner tonight. Sounds like he cleaned your clock, too.
Wow.
Okay, so
Should
now...
have
here's-
waited until they were completely cooked, though. They
yeah,
looked almost
they
raw
look
when
like
he
they're
ate them.
pretty raw, but yeah, you know,
Well, he's a bear. He can handle that.
bears are omnivores. They can pretty much eat anything. So they're lucky that... The poor little guy's lucky that he didn't invade, like, a vegan party. Which, by the way, we were gifted some vegan sausages that I'm really looking forward to trying tomorrow.
I'll whip them up tomorrow. With
I'll
some,
have an
actually,
open
no,
mind
we still
about
got
it.
some real bacon. I'm going to make the bacon with this tomorrow.
Let's wrap the vegan sausages in bacon and cook them that way.
I will refuse to
Hey, come on.
desecrate
You
my
loved-
bacon thusly.
You love my bacon-reduced tofu.
Yes. Because it's an actual decent way to eat that crap.
All right, one more news of the weird.
All right.
This
well,
one's weird. This one is really weird. It's like, oh my god, they survived. Let's send them to slaughter. Huh?
What?
Mer?
All right.
The cows are like, wait, moo?
More than 24 cows that survived a crash involving an overturned tractor trailer on Interstate 84 in Newtown on Thursday have been evaluated and cleared to be transported out of Connecticut in the coming days. The owner of the 30 dairy cows is arranging for his new tractor trailer to take the animals to their original destination, Ohio.
So where are they
were
now? Are they
headed-
just walking around the interstate like, mer? Mer?
I guess so.
Oh.
And their original destination where they were headed when the driver of the tractor trailer transporting them Thursday failed to navigate a curve in the road and overturned the vehicle.
Failed to
A
navigate a
soon-to-be
turn.
former trucker On the
Oh,
exit
I'm so
10
sorry,
off-ramp of
Ossifer. I
Interstate
failed to navigate the
84
turn.
west at about 3:14 a.m. Was he awake? Rebecca Eddy,
Probably not.
spokesperson for the State Department of Agriculture, said
You know you're
Friday,
failing to navigate a turn when you hear... Which,
much.
when we drove coast to coast, we
Yeah.
heard many times.
Eddy said she did not have additional information about where specifically the cows were headed in Ohio. They had originally come from Maine. They were evaluated by state veterinarian and they're doing well. Eddy said of the cows that survived the crash,
The couch?
which were loaded onto a new tractor trailer Thursday and taken to an area facility where they would remain until being transported to Ohio.
Oh, the cows like, this is cool. I can do this. All right. Yeah.
Eddy said there were a few inaccurate reports on Thursday about the number of cows that were killed following the crash, but state officials have since determined that 8 of the 44 animals being transported died during the accident, and another 6 had to be euthanized. State officials received permission from the owner of the cows to evacuate the animals, which
Evaluate.
was done... Evaluate, yes.
Yeah, evacuate is very different.
Yes, it is. They already had to evacuate the truck.
Yes.
Which was done in coordination with state veterinarian to determine which cows needed to be euthanized, according to Eddy. State Department of Ag said in a statement that the decision was made based upon the circumstances present and to prevent further suffering of the animals. Connecticut State Police said the risk of exposure to hazardous conditions also contributed to the decision, adding that a fuel spill was reported following the wreck.
Oh, ooh, dangerous.
So they could have been...
I mean,
They
it's
could have been
cow
barbecued.
farts are already causing global climate
They could
change,
have
but
already
gas
been
covered
barbecued and,
cows.
like, feeding all the local bears.
Yeah.
Da.
Aha! I get what you just said.
Thank
They could have
you.
become hamburger
Thank
and the
you.
gas girl. Yeah.
State police clarified Friday that troopers used agency-provided firearms to euthanize the 6 cows. What, they didn't just use their personal Glocks or like a
But okay, I'm
spit
curious.
wads or slingshot or
Regulations prohibit the meat from the 14 dead cows from being used for human consumption. Why?
That's too bad.
Why?
There's some homeless people you could feed with that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bears?
Yeah, bears. You feed them to the bears, they'll stop invading our barbecue parties. Those
Yeah,
jerks.
give them their own cows.
Anyway. The driver of the tractor trailer was not injured. He was issued an infraction for failure to maintain the proper lane, state police said.
Failure to maintain the proper lane.
Jane.
I have so many people in my life that I could write a ticket for that exact thing.
For not staying in their lane?
Stay in your lane, dude. Stay in your lane. Speaking of staying in your lane, let's hear from Chuck, shall we?
Let's.
And now, CCW News presents Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening! Aloha Snack Bar Edition, October 22nd, 2023. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news this week is that the United States of America still does not have a Speaker of the House, which has had the same severe effects on American lives as the Hollywood writers' strike. After it was confirmed that barbaric Muslim terrorist regime Hamas brutally slaughtered thousands of innocent men, women, and even babies, the Canadian broadcast system forbade commentators from using the term terrorist because that is just too mean and judgy a word to use on regimes that violently kidnap, rape, and murder a specific minority. The propaganda mills for Canada's blackface dictator complied, using instead the term fighters, and news outlets in the U.S. predictably fell in lockstep. Upon hearing this, the Anti-Defamation League sent a spokesperson to remind Legacy Media that Palestinians, quote, are not fighters, they are terrorists, end quote. The ADL then declared itself a hate group and reported its board to the CIA. Multiple student groups from Stanford signed a declaration in support of Hamas. Large portions of Wall Street asked for a list of members of those groups to ensure they don't mistakenly hire any terrorists. Other pundits reminded us that college students are renowned for being idiots, and thanks to our liberal educational system, they're getting dumber by the minute. After a fake sobbing Rashida Tlaib instigated the violent insurrection at the Capitol, which the Democrats and their lapdog press won't call an insurrection because it's okay when they do it, the rest of the squad came out in full support of Hamas, a move that even John Fetterman denounced as moronic. Speaking of moronic matches made in the opposite of heaven, Hamas has been having an ongoing love affair with Black Lives Matter, which makes sense as the similarities are striking. Other than Hamas's propensity for throwing gays off buildings, both terrorist organizations engage in destroying their own towns and killing their own people while blaming their despicable actions on everyone around them. Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar compared what he called the racist killing of George Floyd, who actually died of a fentanyl overdose, to the racist killings of Palestinians who actually attacked innocent Israelites at a music festival. Meanwhile, the brain donor-in-chief has demanded still more money to fund both sides of both of his wars. He even gifted the terrorists yet another $100 million that they totally won't be using to make more pipe bombs from cannibalized UN-donated water systems. For the record, many families in Maui still have no homes. Oh, and Russia is using trained dolphins to fight in Crimea. I swear, I am not making any of this up. While those who vociferously support Hamas may face some personal discomfort, those who post memes the Brandenreich doesn't appreciate are literally sent to prison. In the United States, where we used to have constitutionally protected free speech. Even though there are thousands of examples of Democrats doing the same, and the joke itself is as old as the election process itself, Douglas Mackey has been sentenced to 7 months in prison for tweeting a fake Hillary ad in 2016. Will the last person leaving the former free nation of America please turn out the lights? But above all this, always remember, while they will wholesale ignore atrocities from their side of the aisle, the one thing the Mockingbird Press will report negatively on its own side is that, under certain lighting, Joe Biden's chin looks like a ball sack. I swear, I am not making this up. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, This is Actually Happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.
Leaders, listen up. Do you feel like you can't get a dang thing done because of all the namsy-pamsy crybabies that want you to coddle their creativity? When you give orders, are you met with vacant stares only rivaled by a cocker spaniel? It's not them. It's you. You need to shape up or they'll ship you out. Read The Sniper's Guide to Leadership, and you'll become a more effective leader, communicator, and motivator. Forget SMART goals and learn SWIFT goals. Get The Sniper's Guide to Leadership in paperback, Kindle, and Nook. Today!
Any bank that's worth a bag of salt these days offers you alerts about your balance and your credit score. But is just knowing your balance really helping you? You need honest, in-the-moment financial advice from a trusted voice. At For Reals Bank, we are taking it to the next level. Introducing For Reals Alerts, the most honest money messaging you've ever experienced. You choose the voice that best fits your personality and needs, and we'll do the rest.
Dang, girl, you's a broke-ass hoe. You need to slow down and stop spending your baby daddy's hard-earned money. And what are you doing shopping at Macy's? You could have got that at the dollar store.
For the love of God, stop buying her drinks! Dude, she's already told you she's not going out with you! Besides, your alcoholic ass doesn't have any money left! Where were you gonna take her, the laundromat? For God's sake, stop already!
All right, lardass. After the 4th Arby's and 7th McDonald's transaction this week, we've locked your account for any more purchases outside of protein powder and a gym membership. Start walking and stop driving through, lardball!
According to our records, your savings balance is currently $0.08. Your most recent transaction was a withdrawal of $5,452,926.48, made 5 hours ago by your now former business partner, Bob. Bob is now on a private plane with your wife heading for an undisclosed island in the Pacific. I have connected to your GPS and am now searching for the tallest building nearby with an accessible roof.
Go to forrealsbank.com to sign up today. For Reals Bank, member FDIC, the Federally Dependent Idiots Committee.
Yeah, I get it. Your parents were jerks and you're traumatized. But that doesn't mean you should use your lousy childhood as an excuse to be a lousy adult. Stop being such a whiner and get past your past already. Buy Get Over It and Get Started, the book by Melanie Hope that will get you out of your self-imposed failure and on the road to greatness. Available in paperback, Kindle, and Nook.
Walking along the beach alone, I see him. Ree is on way. Before our eyes even meet, I know that his manly presence will be so toxic. How do I overcome this emotional intrusion and still assert who I am deep in my soul?
Now from Oscar Pay the Renta, a new fragrance for today's social justice warrior. Introducing Ree.
I am my own woman. I am my own man. I am my own gender fluid. I am... What was I again?
Ree. Oscar Pay the Renta's new fragrance for overpowering the patriarchy and igniting the new social order. Available at Guido's Pizza. Hi, everybody. This is Jim from Counterculturewise with my newest jingle about our store. I don't mean to be intrusive, but just have a look at our exclusive stuff you just can't find in any store. Click on the big store link and find mugs that you can drink from, and shirts and hoodies and mouse pads and much more.
What is that awful sound?
Chop it, woman. I'm just getting started.
Oh, boy.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. Buy our crap and come support us. Whatever thing you can afford us, so our mean old landlord doesn't throw us in the street. We've got goggle stuff to deck your place, and Max's gorgeous orange face, and FBI and mooing slabs of meat.
Stop already.
No way, Toots. I'm on a roll. I can't emphasize enough how much you need to buy our stuff so I can live a better life chock full of luck. If after everything I've said I haven't gotten through your head, then it's really clear you just don't give a...
Yeah, no!
I want what I want, woman!
And we want you to check out our great official gear at counterculturewise.com. Radio with heart in mind.
All right. We have, for your dining and dancing pleasure, a brand new Starcucks ad, and this is based on something that actually went down last week.
All of our Starcucks ads are all of our skits are based on what actually happened, but no, this actually happened.
This one is particularly heinous.
Particularly timely given the opening of our show.
Yes. At Starcucks, we proudly stand by our longtime leftist business approach. After all, we certainly don't want to appear racist, sexist, anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ, well, you get the idea. That's why in many parts of the country, we work in loving solidarity with our union members. Happy employees make for happy profits, right? To show you what I'm talking about, let's look in on a few recent encounters at one of our locations.
Welcome to Starcucks. What can I make for you?
Not a damn thing.
Excuse me?
How could you?
How could I what?
How could you support Hamas?
What?
Don't play dumb with me, sister. I saw your union social media post. You openly stated that you support Palestine.
Well, I don't really keep up on our posts.
You are a union member, aren't you?
Well, yes, but that's because...
So you support those terrorists. And why? Because you hate Israel.
What are you talking about? My grandmother immigrated from Israel. I'm Jewish.
How dare you betray your heritage?
Look, this is ridiculous. Do you want coffee or not?
No, and you'll never see me in here again.
I hope not. Welcome to Starcucks. What can I get started for you?
An apology.
For what?
For supporting those bloodthirsty baby-killing monsters.
Look, Rabbi, not all Palestinians are terrorists. Either way, I don't support Hamas.
I need to talk to you, Liz.
Okay, as soon as I'm finishing helping the rabbi.
He can wait.
Forget it, Liz. No one in my congregation will support this company again. Shalom.
What's wrong?
Why did you tell that man that you don't support Hamas?
Because I don't.
You do realize our union supports Hamas, right?
I do now. Listen, why are we taking a stance on that at all? I don't recall any discussion of this. Aren't you afraid of losing customers?
Aren't you afraid of losing your job?
Really? You're going to take that approach?
Whatever works. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Whatever. Welcome to Starcucks. Please tell me you're going to actually buy something.
Infidel, I heard you. You said you hated Hamas. Allah be praised. Death to Israel. Death to America.
Death to my give a damn.
Well, it looks like we have a union to sue and more work to do. We'll keep trying. Until next time.
All right. Consensus is, we'll ask chat really quick, Florida Man or more wonderful than weird? We'll give it 2 seconds. Booty, 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 boo. Booty, booty, better answer or we'll keep on singing this dumb song. I guess we're playing Florida Man. Ever had a day you felt so stupid, lacking a brain? Well, here's a guy who'll make you feel like a genius and maybe even sane.
All the world loves to laugh at losers as often as they can. Here comes another chance to chuckle. Here comes the Florida Man.
We'll be back with news of the weird and wonderful after this.
After this. The quiet of a Florida neighborhood was shattered by an unusual incident. A man, driven to desperation by the incessant noise of a sheriff's helicopter, threatened to use his supposed ties with Satan to kill the chopper crew. Okay. An act of aggression sparked by frustration had shone a spotlight on the tension between necessary law enforcement activities and the sanctity of residential tranquility. The incident occurred after the sheriff's helicopter had been repeatedly flying over the man's home. Didn't we have a name for those in Vegas? We called them, what were they called? Ghetto birds? I think we called them ghetto birds.
It had to do with the neighborhood we were living in.
Yeah, I think we called them ghetto birds.
The Boulder
Yeah.
something or another. It's been
I think we called them ghetto birds. The constant drone of the chopper had robbed the suspect of sleep and peace. Visibly agitated, to whom? Who was he visually agitated to? Okay. He confronted the deputies with a chilling threat. He claimed to have connections with Satan and expressed his intention to use them to bring down the helicopter crew. In the power of... Yeah, okay. The man's extreme reaction underscores the distress that can arise from prolonged exposure to noise pollution. Oh my God, are you kidding me? The subtitle is Noise Pollution, an Unseen Aggressor. They're taking this dude's side. I'm not even joking.
Seriously?
Yeah. Helicopter noise, in particular, has been a bone of contention in numerous communities. The low frequency sound created by rotor blades can travel over long distances, disrupting the lives of those on the ground. Studies have linked noise pollution to various health problems, including stress, sleep disturbance, and even mental health issues. Law enforcement agencies often find themselves walking a tightrope, trying to balance the needs of the community with the necessity of their operation. Who wrote this nonsense?
Some anti-cop ding-dong.
What is BNN?
BNN?
BNN.
The Bare Ass Naked Network? I don't know.
No, that would actually make more sense.
Let me go. I was getting my own
you do the
thing
thing.
ready here. Give me a second.
You do the thing.
Hold on.
Because they're not actually getting to the dang story. Criminy. Okay, here's the headline. Florida man threatens sheriff's helicopter crew over noise pollution with Satan.
So what's this BNN thing?
I don't know what BNN is. British News Network, maybe? I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to the
BNN,
Fox.
okay. BNN is like British News Network.
Okay, I'm going to the
Sorry, it was like
local Orlando Fox. Here we go.
All righty.
Robert Money was arrested Sunday on 3 counts of aggravated stalking. Oh, he purdy. The thing is, no tattoos. You
don't see his arms.
Which is rare. The 59-year-old man showed up. Wow.
I know, there is a resemblance. It bothers me a bit.
Showed up at the Air One hangar on Saturday, screaming at the crew and staff, deputies said. Officials said Money was screaming from across the fence and also at the front of the building. His last name, Money, very similar to
honestly,
Moniz.
I don't know the guy, all right? Even if I did, I wouldn't know the guy.
You just add a Z, I'm just saying. Allegedly told employees that they were evil, adding that the devil is going to kill you and I'm going to help. He doesn't look that scary in his picture, though. Money is no stranger.
He probably has a voice like this, too. I'm going to kill you all. Satan's going to help me.
Satan's going to help me. Money is no stranger to Volusia's sheriff's officers, deputies, who have previously encountered the man who believes helicopters are, quote, part of a conspiracy spying on him and or causing him concussions by flying over his home. How is that a quote? He wouldn't use him, her. He would use me, my. The sheriff's... bad quote. Boo. The sheriff's office said in a press release. Money also said Air One is giving him concussions every time they fly over. Isn't Air One a news station?
Yes. Well, it's Air One is actually a gospel radio network.
And it's giving him concussions every time they fly over?
No
wonder Satan's upset.
Angel stomping all over me.
Go straight to Amy Grant. I love it. Angel stomping over me. And sadly, I know the song. His house, according to the arrest affidavit. In 2018, the man was arrested after threatening to shoot down Air One. Monai was booked. See, we use Monai as the plural. When you and I go out, we're the Monais. The Monai, yeah. Monas. Monai was booked into the Volusia County Branch jail, where he remains without bond. The only reason he is without bond is because he's white, because only white people don't get bonds. All right, your turn.
All right, this is hilarious. This guy isn't as scary as the last one. It looks anyway. A 6'3", 230. Oh, by the way, there is a very bad, wrongly used word in this article, and I'm going to read it as they wrote it. And your
snap.
Your assignment is to stop me when you've heard the word.
Okay.
A 6'3", 237-pound Florida man is accused of roughing up his 103-year-old grandmother, who he claims came at him in their shared Clearwater home. Gregory Baskus was charged with battering Centurion Cecilia Baskus shortly after 4 a.m. Wednesday, according to an affidavit. I knew you'd find it.
She's a Roman soldier?
It's centenarian, you journalist, you.
I totally had a visual of her with her leather armor and her
big metal helmet with a big brush on top of it. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, these.
Gregory Baskus was charged with battering centenarian Cecilia Baskus shortly after 4 a.m. Wednesday, according to an affidavit posted on the Smoking Gun. The alleged victim told police responding to a noise complaint that her 52-year-old grandson awoke her by turning lights on and off, slapping her around, calling her a bitch, and telling her to wake up.
Wake up, Centurion! You've got a war to win! Buckle up those sandals!
Don't forget your sword. Anyway, she also claimed he removed the mattress from her bed, then pushed her onto the box spring. The suspect denies grabbing his grandmother by the arms and shaking her, as she also claimed, but said he awoke her because she frequently wakes him in the morning. The victim had no marks on her face, but had bruises of varying darkness on her arms, cops said. Gregory Baskus said he only held his grandmother's arms when she came at him, then seated her on her box spring. When police asked why the mattress wasn't on the bed, the suspect said he removed it so the sheets could be washed. So you completely remove the... This guy's a piece of work. Said he removed it so the sheets could be washed. A police report shows an indication of alcohol influence.
An indication?
www.youthink.com.
You think?
Oh, God. Pinellas County Sheriff's Office records show the suspect was charged with battery on a person 65 years or older and released Thursday night. He's listed as a New York native.
Of course.
What else?
Of course he is.
Yeah. Darn those centurions.
Darn those
My mom's
centurions.
almost a centurion.
Almost?
Anyway.
But do they have a song? It's not like Bar the Halls of Monte. No, that's not it. That's
Centurions? No. I keep thinking of an American Express card, but they don't have a jingle. They just have don't leave home without it.
Don't leave home without it, yeah. Okay, so this poor woman, please tell me she got help.
That's the end of the article.
What?
Yeah, that's all, folks.
But tell me there's a follow-up. Come on.
I don't know.
There has to be a follow-up. You can't just leave it that way.
They arrested him and he's in someplace. Well, I mean, we archived these things, so we have the full article. But that's it. He's listed as a New York native.
Darn those centurions.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
I think this guy needs to be pinched hard.
Yeah, and sent to Mars.
Sent to Mars at the very least. I love how they start out with a 6 foot, 3,237 pound.
I know, that's another, yeah, it's a 6'3",
comma, 237 pounds. So it's a 6 foot, 3,237 pound Florida man.
Where does he sit? Wherever he wants to.
But his grandma's a centurion, so, good luck with that one. People, editor, I'm for hire. I'm just saying. All right. Just saying. 3,200. Okay.
Let's see how this one goes. No, I got to play it one more time.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
That's one of my favorites. Okay. A Florida man has been arrested for stealing multiple items, including a television, a toolbox, and a wedding dress.
Well, here comes the groom, dressed like a broom.
Ronald Harshorn reportedly confessed to stealing a key from the 84-year-old resident's house. Thank goodness she's not a centurion. While he was helping with pest control. Let me control that pest for you. Oh, wait, it's me. Oopsie. Then returning between June 15th and 20th to steal the items. Police estimated Harshorn took about $800 worth of merchandise. He reportedly confessed to taking all the items except the wedding dress.
Nah.
That's all they gave us. No, I took all the stuff. But not the broad's dress. I mean, come on. Look at him. Look at the face. Look at the face. Obviously, he didn't steal
Every
the dress.
Every time she says, look at the face like that,
Look at the face.
There's a story behind it. Anyway.
You can see the face at countercultureeyes.com.
Well, now I got to see the face.
You didn't see the face?
Let's just move ahead. This one is great. This is classic Florida man. This is like the best kind of Florida man story there is.
Good way to end
it.
A
sheriff's office in Florida, where else, says a man who was wanted on charges including aggravated battery attempted to dodge his arrest by putting up a sign that read he, quote, does not live here. Quote, for later hiding in a chest of drawers.
Did they fall for it?
Apparently not. In a news release, the Polk County Sheriff's Office said the incident occurred this past Saturday at a home in the Lakeland area. At the time, deputies say they had been alerted that a wanted man identified as Johnny Yates, 41, was at the home in question. He was wanted on charges including aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and tampering. Outside the house, a whiteboard was displayed with a handwritten message. Johnny Yates does not live here.
Totally not me, dude.
Totally not me. No, I don't live here. He doesn't. However, an individual spotted exiting the home was pressed about Yates's whereabouts, resulting in confirmation that he was indeed inside. From there, deputies say they spent about an hour attempting to get those inside to come out, including by using a loudspeaker. So-called surrender smoke was used.
Oh, it's one of our boys.
Sorry, Scarlet, ma'am. Sorry to have to intrude, but there's a Yankee about.
Oh, a Yankee! How terrible!
I'm afraid I'll have to search your premises.
He's not in here. He's not in here.
Aha! So that's where he's hiding. Sorry, Scarlet, ma'am, but I'll have to do my duty. Okay, Yankee! Stick 'em!
Up! He's not in here! He's not in here!
I'll take your word for it, ma'am.
Colonel, the Yankees, they're in Chattanooga.
Chattanooga?
All righty.
He's not in here. He's not in here.
So, we're just going to use Warner Brothers cartoon.
Did it work? Did it
Looney
work?
Tunes reference. Anyway.
I mean, did they write themselves?
After more surrender smoke was used, a canine was sent into the home. The dog found Yates hiding in what the sheriff's office described as a modified chest of drawers, at which point he was arrested. Online jail records show that Yates was booked into custody on Saturday. Oh my, them are pretty. Additional listed allegations against Yates include meth trafficking. Don't meth around. That's not nice.
Don't meth around.
Drug paraphernalia possession. I'm sorry, you put me on a roll here. Resisting an officer without violence and tampering with physical evidence. The others at the house also received charges. Complex has reached out to the Polk County Sheriff's Office for additional comment. This story may be updated, but we won't update you on it because that's all we need to know.
We're better than that.
I don't live here. Ultimate Florida man story.
That one's killing
Best
me.
Best one of the year so far. Absolutely.
He's not in here. He's not in here.
Sorry, Scarlet, ma'am. Yeah. Classic stuff. That's one of those cartoons that got heavily edited on Saturday mornings.
Really?
Because, yeah. I have it on DVD, the original full-length version.
Oh, this is for chat. I was a huge Battlestar Galactica fan, the original.
I never watched it.
How will you ever understand my obsession with Dirk Benedict if you don't watch?
I know. I understand your obsession with Kirk Benedict. He was hot back then, dude. Come on.
Okay.
Anyway, stop slobbering. You're going to electrocute
I know.
yourself.
I'm going to electrocute myself.
All right. Okay, so... All right, enough.
Okay, let's head back up.
We're going to head back to Weird and Wonder Fuel.
Oh, my goodness,
Now we're into
okay.
more wonderful than weird.
This one is so sweet. This led me down a rabbit hole of following this poor kid because the pictures are absolutely just heartbreaking. I mean, I can't even describe the pictures, so do head over to counterculturewise.com after this child. And there's a lot of really weird articles out there that have wrong information. So what happened is this little boy, when he was a toddler, a candle fell over into his crib and caught fire, and he sustained burns over most of his body. And his face is totally jacked up.
Yeah, it's not. Prepare yourself when you see the photos.
Be ready.
Yeah,
for
I was
this.
not. Yipe.
And yet he's such a sweet and charming human being. So his name is Zaid Garcia. It's probably Zaid, but I think Zaid sounds right. He was just 2 years old when he suffered 4th-degree burns. So that's the worst you can possibly face. The fact that he lived is beyond my comprehension. 4th-degree burns all over his body after a candle fell on his blanket. So there are other accounts out there that, he was a normal 20-year-old, blah, blah. No, not true. Not true. This kid has been like this his entire life. A young man who survived critical burns to 80% of his body has been made an honorable police officer.
Man, this should have been on Wonderfuller, man. This was a tearjerker.
This is a tearjerker. This is a local boy, too, from Galveston, Texas. Doctors said that he would never survive the 4th-degree burns he experienced as a toddler. However, he miraculously pulled through after countless operations and skin grafts. He lost both of his hands, his eyes, and right arm at the age of 2 after a fire broke out when a candle fell onto his blanket as he slept. And, I think about this, and I think about the mom that lit that candle and the agony that she's going through watching her son. I can't even fathom.
Well, I mean, also, that's before you even have a memory of what life was like.
Well, for him, yeah.
I can remember back when I was 3 years old.
For him, yeah. But for his mom,
yeah,
I can't even imagine.
I mean, he's always known this life. He
right.
never got to experience.
Right.
Which might, in some way, might be better.
Might be better in his case, but for his mom,
for the mom, yeah,
I can't even imagine. From the age of 10, Zaid has had the dream of becoming a police officer. And now officers in Texas have made the dream come true. Mr. Garcia said, "I'm so excited, really. I have no words. This is like the best days of my life. I told my mom, I think I can do it, And to be honest, I didn't even believe it myself. Since my accident happened, I like to protect people. So my dream was kind of like to be a police officer." This sweet, beautiful child, after what he went through, his dream is to protect other people. I mean, is that not pure? Whenever you get down on our current generation, whenever you wonder about humanity, is that just not pure, godly human spirit?
It is.
At every level. What a sweet, sweet boy. When Zaid made the visit to the Houston Police Department's Academy in North Houston, he was presented with a junior uniform. He jumped up and down with excitement. And keep in mind, he doesn't have eyes. He doesn't have a nose. There's so much we could do for him surgically. We need to fix this kid. He was also presented with a certificate marking him as an honorary member by their chief, Tony Finner, who's kind of a good-looking dude. He was also taken out onto the force test track where he learned how to make a traffic stop, take down a suspect, and pull over a car. I'll tell you what, we have more people like that on the police force, ain't nobody going to be committing crimes.
That's true.
If he pulls you over, you're going to be like, holy crap! I'm done. I'm reformed. Jesus, please help me. In videos shared to social media, Zayed can be heard saying, "Stop, I'm Officer Garcia." How cute is he? He also shared a story with some of the young cadets. "I ended up proving doctors wrong, too, he said. They thought I could not make it, but here I am.
And you know something? That may have been why God let him live for this moment.
You never know.
He works in mysterious ways for sure.
So he spent his day dressed as a member of the police force and got to do, and he's so tiny. Sergeant Jeremy Leher said, "They really kind of make you take a step back and be appreciative of everything that you might take for granted on a daily basis. Everybody who's come in contact and had the pleasure of meeting him today has left better than before they met him." And we're talking all shapes, sizes, colors, everything you can possibly imagine. Following the accident, Zayed was flown from his home in Mexico to San Antonio, Texas, for treatment on the 4th-degree burns, which affected his bones, muscles, and tissue. He had countless surgeries, amputations, and skin grafts. How this kid survived, Doctors covered his burnt eyes with skin to help them heal, but Zayed hopes that one day he will be able to have the skin removed and he will regain his sight. Zayed said his family stayed in Texas when he was released from hospital, where he now attends a school for the blind. I did a lot more reading on this too, and he's like at the school for the blind. He's like a pioneer. He's like this kid that everybody looks up to. Sharing more about his childhood, Zayed said, "It was hard growing up, to be honest. People are scared of me because of the way I look," and he is really scary looking.
He is scary looking.
When I was young, I tried to commit suicide. My mom told me that was not the right thing. I was finding it hard to fit in at school and make friends. I work hard to improve each day. I just want to be accepted. When people meet my parents, my mom prepares them. She explains, "Hey, I have a child with disabilities." That's an understatement. She prepares them. Of course, they get surprised, but soon they only care about my personality. I hope they think I'm interesting, that I'm easy to talk to. He sounds like an amazing kid. I like going out with friends and giving them time to talk with me if they need something. I like to sing. I hope he's a good singer. And sometimes I write songs or poems. I love art and playing around with pencils. I have other interests, and I hope people see that when they meet me.
You can actually see an outline of his brain. That is just
I know. Yeah.
Nuts.
This kid is not only a miracle, but the embodiment of all things human. If you think about it, he is what I wish all humans could be. And his hideous vicious, he's just terrifying to look at, and yet his soul is nothing but beauty. I recommend going and looking at the pictures and thinking about what he had to say, because he is a beautiful, beautiful human being.
Indeed.
All right, your turn. Hey.
How do I top that one?
You
Good
don't.
gravy.
You don't. I probably should have put that down in Wonder
saved
Folder.
up for the last.
I probably should have.
That's okay. That's all right. Everything is beautiful in its own way.
Everything is beautiful.
Okay, this is one I brought into the show here. Yeah. A Michigan couple was in for a major surprise while cleaning out an abandoned semi-trailer left on their property.
Who has just like, oh, golly gee willikers, I have an abandoned semi-trailer on my, okay, whatevs. Sorry.
Larry and Joyce Schramm, who own a storage facility where the semi was abandoned.
Okay, all right. I take back everything I just said.
There's a reason. It wasn't their home. It was. Anyway, they own a storage facility where the semi was abandoned. Told TBK TV, they discovered a 172-year-old Bible filled with cards, letters, and marriage and death certificates. One of those big family Bibles like I used to have. Even more remarkable, the Bible was the only item they discovered that wasn't ravaged by rainwater. I'm back to the rainwater and
washes
mold.
in.
As the holy book was wrapped up and protected, It's
With
amazing how old this book is, Larry told the outlet. It was a neat find. I'm putting my glasses on because I'm tired of stumbling over words. Rather than hold on to the Bible, though, the family decided to put clues together to try and return it to the proper family.
So you're telling me that putting on your glasses makes your mouth work?
Yes, it's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
The only information...
In the name of Jesus, smack!
All right, let's get the story finished here.
That's a good story.
Blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
The only information they had to go on was the last name, Wendell. At first, the couple couldn't locate the family, but after sending the Bible to WJBK-TV,
WJBK,
reporters tracked down Chris Wendell in Arizona, and she said the Bible belonged to her father's side of the family.
That's so cool.
Wendell also offered context into how the Bible and other belongings were left behind. My grandparents were antique dealers, and my father had this semi with all the stuff in it, she said, explaining how a friend said he would take care of the semi-truck after her dad died 7 years ago. But obviously he didn't, she told the outlet. I didn't even know that the Bible existed, so this is all news to me. The Bible and family records are now helping her learn more about her history, something she welcomes.
Oh, that is so cool.
My dad would be so proud that you guys found this Bible, Wendell said. That would bring him much joy. As for the Shrams, they're excited the Bible is making its way back to its rightful
I can tell you from personal experience that a family Bible has a lot of meaning until your dogs eat it, and then never mind.
All right.
Chat, who's still talking about Battlestar Galactica. Speaking of being fracked up, this one is weird. Okay. Mary Foss Starn and several of her friends were packing eggs into cartons in an Iowa factory in 1951 when they hatched a goofy plan to liven up their workday. The young woman decided they would each sign their names and hometowns on a few eggs they packed at random, slip them into cartons, and send them out like notes in a bottle to see if anyone responded. Now, we're talking eggs, like crack them, scramble them, okay. Most of the eggs she and her friends were packing at the Produce and Egg Company in Forest City were destined for stores on the East Coast, Starn said, adding that at age 19, she's just a baby, she hoped someone in New York City would open an egg carton, find one of her eggs, and become her pen pal. Mm-hmm. I had a pen pal like a billion years ago. I've never been to New York City, still haven't, so I signed 4 or 5 eggs, and off they went on the truck to who knows where. Starn is now 92 years old. This happened in 1951.
Wow.
When months went by with no response, Starn said she figured her eggs had long ago been cracked into omelets and she wouldn't hear from anyone. Yum. About a year later, she married Paul Starn and started a family. And she's a lovely lady. As her 2 daughters grew up, she often regaled them with stories of her mischief on the egg production line. We heard the egg story our entire lives, said daughter Lori Bascom, 67. Our mom always thought it would have been fun to get a response. Last month, 72 years after Starn shipped out the eggs, that moment finally arrived. Starn was with her daughter, Jacques Pluriel, last month when Pluriel received a Facebook message from one of her cousins who lives in Iowa, alerting her to a post about an egg that had turned up with her mother's name on it. 72-year-old egg? Ploger said she looked at the post, and when she'd picked her jaw up off the floor, she told her mother the news. Mom, remember those eggs you signed? One of them has been found. Starn did not believe it at first. It took a bit to sink in, but my mom laughed and said, well, yeah, I guess I really did do that when I was young, didn't I? She's now 70. It was pretty strange, said Starn, who now lives in Mason City. I thought somebody must have had a really good refrigerator. Ploger said her cousin had come across a post about her mom's autographed egg on the Facebook group page Weird and Wonderful. Woohoo! Secondhand finds that just need to be shared. John, not going to try it, of New Jersey, had posted that he'd received the egg about 20 years ago from a neighbor, Miller Richardson, while he was living in Staten Island. Richardson, an artisan and antique collector, had wrapped the egg up and tucked it away inside a small box after finding it in a carton of a dozen eggs he'd bought in 1951. That has got to be it. One stinky-ass egg. I went to Miller's house one day to help him look for something, and we were going through boxes, and I came across the egg. When I asked him about it, he said he kept it because of the writing on it. You're not going to pronounce it.
Amalfitano.
Now 60, living in Dunella, New Jersey, said he couldn't understand why the egg didn't putrefy over the years. It had dried out inside, but there was still some weight to it. What's-his-name said to Miller, who has since died, gave him the egg, telling him, "You can keep it because I know you'll take good care of it." What's-his-name took the egg home, put it inside a silver egg cup for safekeeping, and stored it inside his china cabinet for the next 20 years. He said he searched online once for Mary Foss in Forest City, Iowa, but couldn't find her. Fancy egg container. Then in mid-August, what's-his-name said he was looking for something fun to post about on the Weird and Wonderful Finds Facebook page. We've got to join that page!
We will.
When he thought about the egg, he quickly snapped a few photos and wrote a post. "Here's something you don't see every day. It's an egg from 1951. Egg is still inside, though petrified," he wrote, adding Mary Foss's name and message. Blah, blah, blah. "Wonder if she might still be alive," dude said. Tried to locate her, but came up empty. Within hours, God bless the internet, he said the post was loaded with comments, including many from people who wanted to help crack the mystery of the 72-year-old egg. Nicely written. People shared their own stories of finding decades-old eggs, including a woman who said she found an egg that was 50 or 60 years old in her grandparents' chicken house, and the egg now resides in her mother's hutch. I used to have an orange. I might still have that orange. I named him Griswold. He might be 30, 40 years old. Another woman wrote that she found a basket in a closet that contained eggs that were more than 50 years old. When she cracked one open, everything inside had dried. Plenty of puns showed up on the Facebook post, including excellent story, and it's too cool to ignore. Do your best day. Oh, no, he already did. And it was no exaggeration. I knew Dave in chat would have a. I knew Dave in chat would have one. By the end of the day, August 17, what's-his-name, said he was put in touch with Ploger after her cousin saw his post. He dialed Ploger's number, and she picked up the call. He's still got the egg, and he's holding it up, so head on over to counterculturewise.com after the show to see the pictures of him holding up the egg that still has the writing on it. He began to explain to her how he came across the egg when the call took a turn that surprised him. In the background on the call, I heard this voice speak up. She said, "This is Mary Foss." All those years of saving the egg had paid off. 1951. "Finally," dude said to her, "I can't believe I'm hearing your voice." Ploger said the feeling was mutual. To know her egg had survived all these years. "We were all as surprised as we could be," she said. Emma What's-His-Name and Starn spoke for a bit, and Emma What's-His-Name said the full circle moment was extremely satisfying. The faces Jim's making at me right now is classic. An egg might be a simple thing, but this has turned into such an uplifting journey, and it's impressive to know that the person who signed the egg is alive and has been found. Look at her sweet face. She's so cute. He says he hopes to meet her soon, perhaps in Iowa, if he can find a museum or historical society that would be interested in telling Starn's story and putting the egg on display. I'm sure they're lining up. I'd absolutely donate the egg if they do that, he said. It just seems like a natural next step. So the picture they took is of her now holding a couple dozen eggs. It's adorable. Fresh eggs.
Yeah, understand. Fresh eggs.
Starn said that would be fine with her. I'm happy to have a new friend. She said, I finally have my pen pal. It only took 72 years. How adorable is that story?
That is amazing.
I love that story.
I don't know how to top that one.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you couldn't top the last one.
All right. This is courtesy of Fritzy.
Yeah, it's
This
definitely a Fritzy story.
Yeah. I'd have her read it, but she's sleeping.
She can read it. I could wait.
Huh?
Well, you don't want to wake her up.
Yeah, it's okay. No, it's all right. Smokey, the Coors Field cat, broke the internet when he was searching for his forever home this summer. Months later, he is still making an impact on the Denver metro community. After Smokey's adoption, yeah, Smokey's cute.
He is
Coors Light pledged to donate $10,000 to Animal Rescue of the Rockies for more happy endings like this. Thank you, Coors. The money will go towards supplies like food and cat litter. In his prime, Smokey lived at Coors Field for 10 years. He was cared for by a dedicated team at the stadium who brought him food every day, no matter the weather.
Aww.
In July, Smokey could no longer spend his days at the field. According to the Animal Rescue Group, he wasn't as active as he once was and started to have some health problems.
Smokers.
His adoption application was posted on Animal Rescue of the Rockies. Within less than a month, Smokey was adopted and moved into his retirement home. The application received numerous submissions on the first day it was posted. I don't doubt that. Cat is adorable. Smokey is now set up in a loving home to live out the rest of his golden years, but he continues to make his adorable mark on the community. The rescue group still has Smokey's profile on the website to continue his story and bring attention to other cats who still need homes.
Oh, good job, Smokers. He's such a pretty boy. Aww. Well, I don't know if we can top these, but let's try. One last story. Wonderful. Or do you want to play the stinger, or you want to just go into it?
Go ahead. That's okay. We'll go ahead and just read it. People are good. La la la. Here's the best of the better and the stuff.
I ran across this story earlier this week, and it really hit me. So I'm going to go read it. I'm going to try not to cry. Rocky Kanaka is just the sweetest human being on the planet Earth. He loves dogs, and he puts his money where his mouth is. So I've been a follower of him for a long time.
How about that?
And he rescues dogs like you wouldn't believe. And this story came across my path because of him. Okay, so this is recent. Sulala Animal Shelter, Gaza's sole animal sanctuary. This is kind of like a full circle.
Yeah.
Stands as a testament to human tenacity and compassion amidst the backdrop of conflict. Overlooking the harrowing visuals of smoke from shelling and the deafening roars of explosion, this shelter is a refuge for over 400 dogs and 130 cats, many of whom have known no other home. Beyond the daily challenges of ensuring food and safety for the animals, Sulala, which means animal in Arabic, faces a unique predicament. A significant number of its inhabitants are disabled. I mean, they've been facing bombings their whole lives. Yeah. Yet adversity seems to spur innovation here. Wheels from discarded children's toys and bicycles are transformed into mobility aids. So one of them is, it looks like a, not a greyhound, but the smaller, a whippet maybe, with his back end is basically a big wheel. It's adorable. So head on over to Counterculture again to see pictures of this. These makeshift prosthetics breathe life into animals like Lucy, a dog rendered paraplegic after an incident. With her new set of wheels, Lucy roams with an enthusiasm that belies her physical condition. That is one thing I have seen with animals. We had a 3-legged dog. Mm-hmm. They don't care. If they can get around, they do. The shelter's infrastructure itself, spread across 5 acres, is a deviation from Western norms. It's an open space where dogs roam freely. There are no kennels. Sulala was wanted to, I can't read this. Okay, wanted to build an actual shelter with walls, but funds have not allowed, and certainly now in the midst of strife and uncertainty, I'm just going to correct the grammar in my head. A physical building would be pointless. So there's too much going on for them to fix it, so it's kind of open air with lots and lots of woggies. At the shelter, mealtime is more than just feeding. It's a poignant display of survival instincts and unity. As the rescuers pour ample amounts of food into large troughs, the clinking reverberates, summoning the dogs. They come charging, driven by hunger and anticipation. That sounds like our house. Ah, man, I did the continue reading nonsense. I hate that. Well, okay, so anyways, this shelter is in the Gaza area where they've had to obviously face a lot of strife, and somebody has such a kind and loving heart that they're making sure that all the dogs are being taken care of, and cats. They're feeding them, they're helping them with their mobility, and it is a beautiful thing.
And the photos are great.
The photos are fantastic.
There's a link to the original article.
Let me see if I can get there. I can get to the original article.
We'll have more of the article.
See if I can
finish
it here. I hate it when they cut it off like
and
that. They're like, read more. You know what?
There's also a link to donate to this.
Yes. Okay, continue reading. Dominant dogs stake their claim at the forefront. The more subdued ones patiently wait their turn. That happens here too. Despite this hierarchy, the shelters team remains vigilant, ensuring every animal gets its fill. We have to do that here too. The daily ritual not only underscores the shelter's pressing challenges, but also showcases the remarkable spirit of its animal residents and the unwavering dedication of its caregivers. As the conflict rages on, the shelter has been proactive, not just reactive. When residents receive a chilling 24-hour evacuating notice, Sulala's team, undeterred by the evident risks, ensures both pets and their owners find safety. This drive stems from a belief that every life, human or animal, is worth saving. Yet, the shelter's pleas are simple. Donations to sustain their operations and global awareness of their situation. With the area cut off, they rely heavily on international aid, received support as far as Australia and Britain. Perhaps the most telling statement of Sulala's impact comes from its residents. Despite the chaos, more animals sensing a haven have been finding their way to the shelter. It's a silent vote of confidence and affirmation that in combat's grim theater, places like Sulala offer a glimmer of hope. We shall be posting the links to this shelter, Sulala. I'm going to the Instagram right now. Sulala, Sulala Animal Rescue. So look that up on Instagram. The pictures are fantastic. And there are links to how you can support them, which we will provide on counterculturewise.com. Well, thank you so much for a wonderful evening. I think this is a really good show. Am I crazy? Am I kooky?
I mean, it's not over yet. Something could go horribly awry.
No. No, it's exactly 10. I'm out of here. I had a good time.
Well, so
we
did
could talk
I.
about how Peter
too.
Thiel was an FBI informant, but I don't know. I like landing on a high note.
We're not going to talk any about
our prayers go out to Israel and all of the innocent victims on either side. And we pray that there will be peace. We know that, that's a far-off fantasy, but we also know that God is good. And may your children grow up in a world of peace and hope and harmony. And may you have an amazing week.
Back next Sunday. Counterculture-wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, Be a Guest on Our Show.
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.